Head of Revenue. From PESA, may we also invite the resource person from PESA, Jing Plaza, and Mr. Jay Sonsa. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth before this joint congressional inquiry, so help you God? Thank you.
Maraming salamat po, Comsec. Ngayon po ay itatackle na po natin ang issue on the alleged violations of tax laws by ABS-CBN, specifically the alleged non-payment of correct taxes using its subsidiaries as tax shields. Pwede po muna natin makuha ang panig o posisyon ng ABS-CBN sa issue pong ito. ABS-CBN, you are now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Your Honor. The Honorable Chairman of the House Committee on Legislative Franchises, Congressman Franz Alvarez.
Sir, excuse me po, putulin ko lang po kayo. Maaari po bang magpakilala po kayo, pati po ng inyong posisyon sa ABS-CBN?
Apologize, Your Honor. My name is Ricardo Tan. I'm the Group CFO of ABS-CBN Corporation.
Maaari na po kayo magpatuloy sa inyong presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Honorable Chairman of the House Committee on Legislative Franchises, Congressman Franz Alvarez, the Honorable Chairman of the House Committee on Good Government, Congressman Jose Antonio C. Alvarado, the Honorable Speaker of the House, Alan Peter Cayetano, the Honorable Majority Floor Leader, Martin Romualdez, the Honorable Members of this committee, the Honorable Members of the House present at the plenary and on Zoom, magandang gabi po. Today, we would like to respectfully submit that the following are statements of fact. First, ABS-CBN has paid its proper taxes every year. Contrary to the allegations, there has not been a single year where ABS-CBN has paid zero taxes. Second, ABS-CBN has not violated the terms and conditions of its legislative franchise by availing of PESA tax incentives offered by the government. Third, ABS-CBN has complied with all the relevant government rules and regulations concerning the payment of its taxes. It is not illegal or unusual for a company to enter into a compromise agreement with the BIR. A compromise agreement is a legal remedy available to all taxpayers and not just to ABS-CBN. Fourth, the ABS-CBN Lingkod Kapamilya Foundation is a non-stock, non-profit foundation accredited by the Philippine Council for NGO Certification, whose tax exemption has been confirmed by the BIR. Contrary to the allegation, it has not and has never been a tax shield. On the first point, Your Honor, it was alleged that, quote, ABS-CBN's effective tax rate in 2018 was negative 5%. This means that ABS-CBN managed to avoid paying taxes in 2018. This is not true. In 2018, ABS-CBN as a group paid a total of 5.2 billion in various taxes, 465 million of which was income tax. In fact, the BIR issued a tax clearance to ABS-CBN for the year 2018. Your Honor, the negative 5% or negative 84 million which appeared in our financial statements was incorrectly interpreted as the income taxes that were due from ABS-CBN for 2018. The actual income tax paid by ABS-CBN, excluding subsidiaries, was 164 million, as shown in our 2018 income tax return. The negative 84 million is mainly due to an accounting recognition of deferred tax benefit. It is only for accounting purposes and does not affect or reduce the income tax. Your Honor, it was recently alleged that, quote, ABS-CBN violated the terms and conditions of its franchise by engaging in tax avoidance schemes which deprive the government of much needed revenue, and that, quote, it used its wholly owned subsidiary, Big Dipper Digital Content and Design, Inc., a PEZA-registered company, as a tax shield. Your Honor, Big Dipper Digital Content and Design, Inc. is not a tax avoidance scheme. We did not deprive the government of revenues, nor did we violate the terms of our franchise. In 2009, the Philippine government launched an investment priorities plan to help steer the economy through the global financial crisis. In order to promote growth in certain industry sectors, such as tourism, BPOs, infrastructure, and creative industries, the government offered fiscal and non-fiscal incentives to these preferred activities in order to attract investment and increase the probability of success. Your Honor, we supported the 2009 Investment Priorities Plan of the government. Big Dipper applied and qualified for PEZA registration under the creative industry sector of the IPP, covering non-BPO IT-enabled services and film, TV, and theater arts production. The most recent certification was issued by PEZA on March 30, 2020, confirming Big Dipper's continued entitlement to fiscal and non-fiscal incentives. The PEZA certification is issued to PEZA-registered companies who are in good standing, commit no violation of PEZA rules and regulations, or terms and conditions of the registration agreement. Today, Big Dipper repurposes content for distribution globally and across different platforms. This means that we prepare our shows for export by dubbing and/or subtitling into another language, converting to a higher resolution, reformatting for viewing on cable TV, mobile phones, airline in-flight entertainment, etc., or on platforms like Netflix, Amazon, or iTunes. Ang Probinsyano and Cadenang Ginto on the Filipino Channel, or TFC, or movies like Hello, Love, Goodbye, have to undergo repurposing by Big Dipper before they can be viewed in other countries. Big Dipper has invested over 700 million pesos in equipment, and by the end of this year, this will exceed 1 billion. Big Dipper has generated over $237 million in foreign exchange inflows, created jobs, and helped bring Filipino content to a global audience. We would like to point out, Your Honor, that the opportunity to avail of tax incentives is open to all companies who are willing to assume the financial and investment risk and comply with the government requirements, and not just to Big Dipper. Your Honor, it was stated that, quote, in 2019, ABS-CBN did not pay its rightful taxes. It avoided this by entering into a compromise agreement with the Bureau of Internal Revenue. Further, there were allegations that the BIR had to file cases against ABS-CBN with the Court of Tax Appeals just to compel ABS-CBN to pay its taxes. Your Honor, we have filed and paid our 2019 taxes. The judicial compromise agreement with the BIR related to taxes for an earlier year and not to 2019. We wish to state that ABS-CBN did not violate the law when it entered into a compromise agreement with the BIR for the settlement of taxes. The right to enter into a compromise agreement is a remedy provided for under the tax code in cases where doubt may exist in the validity of assessment or financial incapacity. It is available to all taxpayers, not just to ABS-CBN. Under Section 204 of the Tax Code, the power to evaluate, accept, and approve applications for compromise is provided for by law to the Commissioner of Internal Revenue. The right to file a protest is also provided for by law, as well as the right to file an appeal with the Court of Tax Appeals, which is under Section 228 of the Tax Code. Your Honor, it is incorrect to state that the BIR lodged cases against ABS-CBN with the Court of Tax Appeals. It was ABS-CBN that filed a petition with the Court of Tax Appeals, as is the right of every taxpayer, and not just ABS-CBN. ABS-CBN complied with the process outlined by the Bureau of Internal Revenue, and with the approval of the BIR, as well as the approval of the Court of Tax Appeals, we entered into compromise agreements as provided for in the tax code and paid the taxes. The fact that these taxes were approved by the court validates the legality of these agreements. It should be pointed out that there were no issues of fraud in the disputed assessments. Had there been such issues, these compromise agreements would not have qualified, would not have been accepted, and would not have been approved by the BIR under the conditions provided for by law. Your Honor, it was alleged that, quote, ABS-CBN Lingkod Kapamilya Foundation is being used by ABS-CBN as a tax shield and that it failed to file donor's tax return and pay the donor's tax. Your Honor, this allegation is false. The ABS-CBN Lingkod Kapamilya Foundation has always been transparent in its efforts to uplift and improve the lives of Filipinos. It is accredited by the Philippine Council for NGO Certification, and its tax exemption has been confirmed by the BIR. The donations it receives are not subject to donor's tax. In closing, we would like to state that, to date, there have been many allegations that ABS-CBN has not paid its proper taxes, but there has been no evidence to that effect. We maintain that ABS-CBN has been paying its proper taxes, and we have complied with the law as prescribed by the BIR itself. Your Honor, availing of tax incentives offered by the government to companies on condition that they are able to fulfill certain requirements is not against the law. Entering into compromise agreements with the BIR, which is expressly provided for in the National Internal Revenue Code, is not against the law. And petitioning the Court of Tax Appeals, a right accorded to all taxpayers, is not against the law. The BIR itself has recently attested, and I quote, "As far as ABS account is concerned, they are regularly filing and paying their taxes for the past number of years." Thank you, Your Honor.
Maraming salamat po, ABS-CBN. Ngayon naman po ay pakikinggan naman natin ang isa sa aking mga kababayan mula sa lalawigan ng Bulacan na si Mr. J. Sonsa tungkol sa alleged tax violations ng ABS-CBN. Mr. J. Sonsa, you're now recognized. Sa aking kalalawigan na si Mr. J. Sonsa, you're now recognized. Maaari nyo pong i-unmute yung inyong telepono upang kayo po ay mas marinig.
Chair Jonathan, parang hindi ko siya nakikita si Mr. Sonsa dito sa Zoom. Baka nawala siya, baka pwede siyang balikan na lang maya-maya. Paunahin na natin muna siguro yung BIR para habang nag-aantay tayo kay Mr. Sonsa.
Sige po, Chairman Chikoy.
Pwede pong mauna ang galing po sa BIR para po sa kanilang position. Andyan po kasama natin si Assistant Commissioner Manuel Macoy. Mr.
Hi, good evening, Mr. Chairman and honorable members of Congress. The Bureau of Internal Revenue is willing to assist or help this honorable committee in whatever capacity we can. However, with all due respect, Mr. Chair, as regards to information pertaining to tax returns of all companies involved here, we cannot divulge anything because it is covered by Section 270 of the National Internal Revenue Code. So unless a waiver is secured or issued by authorized representative of the company, please forgive us if we cannot provide any information, Your Honor.
Maraming salamat po sa taga-BIR.
Clarification, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Congressman Barzaga.
Well, we know the confidentiality of the records of the taxpayer. And that is why we want to ask ABS-CBN Corporation if they are giving permission to the Bureau of Internal Revenue in order to disclose the pertinent tax information regarding the taxes paid by the ABS-CBN.
ABS-CBN, maaari po ba kayong sumagot?
Yes, we are, Your Honor.
Ibinibigay po, excuse me, BIR, kapapahayag lang po ng ABS-CBN na sila ay willing na i-disclose ninyo ang kanilang financial statements, BIR. BIR?
Good evening, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Opo.
Yes, Mr. Chair. With all due respect, may we know who executed the waiver?
It's Ricardo Tan, Group CFO of ABS-CBN. Your Honor, may I
And
just
may we
clarify
know
that this is
in
just...
what capacity he is executing the waiver, or whether he is authorized by ABS-CBN board to execute the waiver?
Sorry, Mr. Chair. We
Sige
don't
po,
have-
ipaliwanag po ninyo. Mr. Katigbak, you're now recognized.
Sorry po, Mr. Chair. Kung kailangan po ng BIR ang authorization ng board, we don't have that today. We would have to call a board meeting and ask for their permission po. Kung yan po yung kailangan ng BIR.
Kailan nyo po maibibigay, Mr. Katigbak, dahil maaantala po yung ating hearing kung hindi nyo po ito maibibigay agad?
Kung tatanggapin po ng BIR ang authorization namin as President and as CFO, then we can give it today. But if he requires a board resolution po, the earliest we can do it is sometime tomorrow or Thursday pa po. Because we have to call a board meeting.
BIR?
Baka pwede natin malaman sa BIR kung pwede na po ba yung verbal na authorization ni Mr. Katigbak at ng CFO po natin na nandyan.
With all due respect, Your Honors, but the law is very clear that we need an express waiver coming from authorized representative of the taxpayer. And that authorized representative must be authorized in writing by the company's board.
Sige po, hihintayin namin mula
Mr.
sa
Chairman?
ABS-CBN.
Mr. Chairman?
Hearing suspended.
No, just an inquiry. Just an inquiry. Can we put this on record? Huh?
Hearing resumed. Yes, Congressman Barzaga.
Mr. Chairman, at siguro the Associate Commissioner of the Bureau of Internal Revenue would confirm this. Nagkaroon ng hearing sa Senado noong February 24. It was fully documented. At doon sa Senate hearing, tinanong ng mga senador kung compliant ang ABS-CBN sa pagbabayad ng taxes. Ang ginawa ng representative ng BIR na si Mr. Cabandac, tumingin siya sa ABS-CBN. Sa kanilang pagtingin, nalalaman na ng ABS-CBN yung confidentiality ng kanilang records at sila ay tumango. Kaya binigay naman ng BIR yung record o yung tax, kung ano ang mga taxes na binayad ng ABS-CBN. At sinabi ng BIR na walang accountability ang ABS-CBN insofar as taxes, unpaid taxes are concerned. And I think Associate Commissioner could respond to this because this is recorded. I have the tape right now. we hear the statement or the response of the Associate Commissioner of the Bureau of Internal Revenue, or you better
Yeah,
ask Mr. Simplicio Cabantac of the BIR, who was present during the Senate hearing on February 24, 2020.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair. Yes,
Sige
Mr.
po.
Chair. If the one that will execute the waiver is Mr. Carlo Katigbak, who is the CEO of ABS-CBN Corporation, then maybe we can we can answer all the questions that may be raised by this honorable body.
Maraming salamat po. Chairman Chikoy?
Mr. Chairman, ang sinasabi ng associate ng commissioner ng BIR, ang sasagot sa aming mga tanong ay si Mr. Carlo Katigbak. Paano namin mako-confirm kung
Excuse
tama
me.
ang kanyang statement?
Excuse me po, Congressman Barzaga. Kakasabi lang po ng BIR na kung hinihingi ng CEO ng kung ibinibigay na ng CEO ng ABS-CBN ang waiver sa BIR, ay willing nang sumagot ang BIR sa inyong mga katanungan mamaya. Ibinabalik ko po kay Chairman Chikoy ang pagpipreside. Chairman Chikoy?
Maraming salamat po, Chair Jonathan. So,
Ikon,
malinaw-
pumapayag ba si Mr. Katigbak?
Opo.
po. Doon muna papunta kung pili. Tatanungin po natin ngayon si Mr. Katigbak kung willing na po siya execute yung waiver na yon para po makasagot po ang BIR sa mga katanungan ninyo mamaya.
Yes
Mr.
po, Mr.
Katigbak.
Chair. We're confirming the waiver.
Ayun, Commissioner Mapoy, malinaw na po. Kinonfirm na po ni Mr. Katigbak. So, masasagot na po ninyo freely yung mga tanong mamaya ng ating mga membro. Bago po tayo pumunta po sa